Speaking of embarrassment and shame, a new poll confirms what should obviously be the case. And yet in America, when 60 million people voted for Donald Trump, it would be wrong to assume that what makes sense will be. Most Americans are embarrassed, however, by the Trump coronavirus response, according to a new SSRS poll. So not only are we the laughingstock of the world and the pity of the world, we are also embarrassed, which is good. We should be. The right emotion is to be embarrassed by what we've done on this planet as far as coronavirus is concerned. So a few notes from this poll. Disapproval of Trump's handling of the virus is up to 58%. Great. But how does 42% of the country think Trump did a good job on the virus? That's a problem. 8 in 10 Americans are angry about the response, and 51% are very angry. Well, people should be angry, but that's deceptive because some people are angry because of how bad the response has been, while some people are angry that they have to wear masks. So that one is a little bit less clear. But then the headline, 7 in 10 Americans are embarrassed by the response. And we should be embarrassed because it's been embarrassing. And now there are also 2 important indicators in this poll about when things should start to return to normal. Now, 57% of Americans say schools should not open for in-person classes in the fall. Some have already opened, but that's not a huge majority anyway. Only 57% say keep schools closed in the fall for in-person, do remote. For sports, 49% of Americans say there should not be in-person sports. 45% of Americans say there should be in-person sports. These are really depressing numbers. Even with this polarized a country, you would think, you would hope that almost everyone would realize, guys, this is embarrassing. Obviously, we're not in a position to open schools right now. It's not about never open them. It's about let's just do remote for one more semester and then hopefully we'll have a vaccine and better treatments and things can start to normalize in early 2021. No, embarrassing. Schools shouldn't yet open, but that's not what most people or what nearly half of Americans believe. Now, don't forget, when you look at these numbers, we talked about this yesterday on the show, somewhere between 40 and 50% of this country doesn't even plan to get the vaccine, which will make herd immunity impossible in any kind of short to medium term. So the real headlines here are reversed, right? Instead of, wow, 70% of Americans embarrassed by Trump's coronavirus response, the red alert is, whoa, 30% of Americans aren't embarrassed by Trump's coronavirus response. That's where the focus should be. That's about 100 million people, if you include, out of the full population, which includes kids. But fine, with adults, it would be some smaller number than that. 20% of Americans aren't angry about Trump's coronavirus response. What? That's like 60 million people. Oh, wait. Trump got about 60 million votes in 2016. Now, if we go back to embarrassment for a second, yeah, we should be embarrassed about Trump's response to coronavirus, and I am, but we should be just as embarrassed by the reactions and the behavior of a huge portion of the country's people. I've said before, when Trump leaves, we still have 60 million Trumpists to deal with. We've seen protests against mask wearing. We've seen protests against social distancing guidelines. We've seen people losing their minds in Costco's and Walmart's about liberty and freedom over wearing a mask and trying to stop the spread of a virus. Conspiracy theories about Dr. Anthony Fauci to the point where he needs security and his daughters need security. Bill Gates wants to microchip you. It is embarrassing what Trump has done, but it's doubly embarrassing when we look not at Trump himself, but at his administration's response, at the people around him, and at our fellow Americans. At some point, we're going to be past this, and we'll be able to do a postmortem, and we will need to include in our analysis not just an analysis of what Trump did and didn't do, not just an analysis of what the Trump administration did and didn't do, but we're going to need to do an analysis of the 60 million people who voted once for this guy and are going to vote for him a second time. Hopefully it won't be enough to give him another 4 years. And we have to contend with them for a very long time. And I've not gotten any good answers to this. I've now talked about this for a couple of weeks. And the main point is, if Trump wins, he's going to do it with 65, 66, 67 million voters. If Trump loses, he's going to lose with 60 to 63 million voters, maybe even 64 million voters. Even if he loses, we have 60 something million Trumpists in this country. They're on school boards. They are working in stores that you go to. They are maybe your family. They are maybe your relatives, your friends, whatever. What do we do about that? Because we as a country are not really going to be able to advance until we do something to weed out the ideology that got 60 million plus people to vote for Trump, not once, but no doubt twice. Or we have to figure out a way to make progress around them or despite them. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm always open to hearing ideas from you. Sunday is the 15th anniversary of the David Pakman Show, August 23rd. I still remember that first show. It was pretty bad. But to commemorate the 15th anniversary on Sunday, we'll be doing a one-day huge membership special. The goal being to bring in more new members this month than ever before. If you'd like to be notified about this great special, it's really, really good. It is by far the biggest special we've run this year, really ever, I would say. And from the standpoint of dollars, okay? So all you need to do to be notified on Sunday is get on my newsletter, my mailing list. You go to davidpakman.com, top right of the page. You will see a place to just type in your email. That's all you have to do. And then Sunday, you will be notified. Let's go to a quick break. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at dpakman. I want to hear what you make of the latest week in America, post-DNC, pre-RNC. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. If you love feeding your intellectual curiosity, but you're always struggling to find the time, check out one of my all-time favorite apps called Blinkist. Blinkist lets you consume an entire book on your way home from work. They take thousands of popular nonfiction books, condense each one into text or audio that you can get through in just 15 minutes, and you get all of the important core ideas and information from that book. It's perfect if you don't have enough time to do all the reading you want to do, or if you just want to sample a book before you buy the entire thing. I recently read A Brief History of Time, of course, by the great Stephen Hawking. This is a book that I have been aware of for so long, and other things got in the way, and it was fantastic to check it out on Blinkist. Blinkist has books on politics, philosophy, science. They have 27 different nonfiction categories, and a subscription is only about $8 a month, and you get the entire library. But you can try it totally free and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video.